In this next video for assignment number 1, we're going to re-establish the elevation tags for our property. And we can see the elevation tags, the original ones that came with the template when we opened and created the drawing, and they're located right here. You can see the boundary of the elevation, and I'll talk about some of that here in just a few minutes. Here is this, which would be the south elevation, right? Because this is pointing to the south elevation. So we're seeing the south elevation, west elevation, north and east. We could move those elevation tags and rotate them, but I found it much easier just to delete them. So I'm just going to select and hit the delete key and say OK. You'll notice that the south elevation disappeared from my list of elevations. I'm going to do the same thing here and the same thing here. Notice what I want you to notice is I'm deleting the square and not the little triangular pointy part. Okay, and the reason is that's the elevation tag. The pointy part just says which of these 4 elevation opportunities you have off that tag is being created. So I'm going to delete that. And so we're now we have no elevations, and that actually out of our project browser disappeared. And so what I'm going to do is come down here and I'm going to put in 4 more. And this time these will be oriented to project north instead of to south. Okay. I mean to true north. And so I'm going to come in and go view and then into elevations. And don't use framing elevations. You want to use elevation. And then I'm just going to place them. We want a west elevation, probably somewhere, right about there. We want an east elevation that's going to focus right here. And we want a north elevation. I would say that we're going to, somewhere right about there. And then a south elevation, and we'll just put that south elevation in the center, kind of right there. Okay, notice that there's only one little triangle, and except on the east elevation, it's pointing in the wrong direction. And notice when I put those tags in, this was recreated. Now let's call it elevation 1A, elevation 2A, so forth, so forth. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk a little bit about elevation tags and then rename these. So let's just go here to the south elevation first. You'll notice here's the tag, and when I click on it, there are 4 different directions in which I can have an elevation. Right now, this one is checked, the one in this direction. I don't want that one, so I'm going to delete that one, okay, by unchecking it, and then put one right here, which will then put it back into the group, okay. And so that, let's double click on it. Oh, let's get out of it. Oh, sorry, I need to. And that will show us elevation 1B. And so that's our south elevation. So I'm just going to rename this south, right? Okay. Click, there we go. Now south. Okay. And then let's go back here to the site, and we're going to make some changes to that elevation. I'm going to click on that little elevation tag, okay, right there, and it's going to show me what the boundaries of my elevation are, okay. Depth-wise, I'm not seeing very far, so I'm going to drag this so that it will include the facade of the oops. Moved the wrong thing. Let's move that back. So it begins right here where I have my tag. Come on. Yeah. And then it'll go all the way to show the elevation. So that is the range of the elevation in this tag right now. Okay. And then the other range is from all the way across the whole key. I'm going to go ahead and limit that. I grabbed the wrong thing. It's moving the wrong thing. Put it back. Let's see if I can get a hold of that. There we go. And so you can see now that dotted area is the boundary of the elevation. Okay. So if we go back into our south elevation here, we're going to see that that boundary has been reset. Okay. But one thing you'll notice is that while I have my topo surface here, you can see topo surface, neither of my levels show. Okay, and there's two reasons for this. The first of these has to do with the clipping plane, the far clipping plane of this elevation. And you'll see right here it says far clipping plane clip without line. Okay, the first thing you need to do is change this to no clip. Okay. And then the next thing we want to do is still not visible, so we still can't see it. So what I'm going to do, and the reason is it's outside of our clipping area. So it was the clipping area right here, okay? This crop area, what they call a crop area, not a clipping area. But so I'm going to do not crop, okay? And you'll notice if I go do not crop, notice now there's my elevations. They're right there. Okay. And so I'm going to grab both of those and move them over so that they're falling in my crop area now. Okay. And so now they're within that crop area and you'll be able to see them. And of course I could readjust them, make them longer or whatever, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So that's how you create an elevation. So what I'm going to do is come back in here and do the same thing here, resize this one to include only a portion of the site. And you may choose not to do that, okay? That's entirely up to you. You know, you can crop that however you want. You probably want to extend the crop beyond the boundary of your property, at least. And then what you need to do is go around, and I'll go offline. There's no sense in you watching me doing it over and over again. So you're going to come in, reset your crop area and your boundaries of your elevation, and then go in and make those two changes that I talked about, the clipping, no clip on the far plane, and then make sure that your elevation tags are inside of the cropped area of your elevation. So that ends this video. You can watch it again if you didn't catch it, and I'll go ahead and fix this, fix all the views for the next one.